everybody.
Hi, friends. Well, from relatively acceptable Salt Lake City, Utah.
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
The podcast. We're dying over here, people. We're dying. This is a podcast exploring religion, politics, and current events from two atheists just trying to survive in the air of Salt Lake City.
Oh, golly. Yeah, it is a bad time, everybody. Especially for our breathing. Oh, golly.
You're Frank Feldman.
If you don't know,
if you don't know,
look it up. If you don't know, look it up. Yeah, I'm Frank Feldman.
And I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up on the show today, Dan, you've all heard about it. You all know what happened. The CEO got gunned down in the streets of Manhattan, and America sort of shrugged. So we're going to talk about that. Yeah. There's some serious implications.
There are some very serious implications. So, I can't wait to hear what we think about it, frankly, because I'm not telling where we're going to land on this.
Not yet. That's coming up on the second half of the show. Yeah. By which we mean the last 10 minutes. But first, some things happened in the world, Dan. Yeah. There's some news. Yeah. Including, Dan, the fact that Bible sales are apparently up by 22% this year. So year-over-year numbers. So
is that all the Department of Education of Oklahoma, or is that just part of it?
Actually, those numbers were not factored in. This is from a Circana book scan. There's a book tracker, and those direct sales, which I don't know if they've really even happened yet in Oklahoma. They apparently would not be a part of this. The article actually mentions the Oklahoma Bible sales. But Bible sales are up 22% in the United States through the end of October compared to the same period last year. And if you look at total print book sales across the board in the United States for the same period over that same period last year, total print book sales are only up about 1%.
That is so weird.
It's not just that people went book crazy and Bibles got caught up in the fray. Nope. Apparently, and not that we have anything really truly like analytical about this at this point. Right. Nobody's been able to really dig into what's going on, but there's a lot of speculation that there's sort of an anxiety that people have been feeling. Hey guys, hey everybody, do you feel the same thing? Maybe do you feel a little anxiety about where the world is and going?
I'm not fucking turning to the Bible for help with that anxiety.
Yeah, no, obviously the election was a big deal. Yeah. For whatever reason, this article mentions artificial intelligence being something that's on people's minds.
Oh, well, I mean, if you're looking for answers about that, a 2,000-year-old book can't steer you wrong.
So apparently last year there were 14.2 million total Bibles sold last year, which is, come on guys, that's just too many.
That's too many. You already have Bible. Here's what, you know what this says to me? People aren't traveling enough because Bibles are free in every hotel room that you go to.
No, and the article actually talks about that there's now such a nice wide variety of different kinds of Bibles that people are being drawn into, like the different features that Bibles might have, or different offerings that a Bible might have within its pages for helping you to understand or to study the holy words of the Bible. Apparently other holy books sales are up also for the Hebrew Bible specifically and the Quran, as well as sort of just the general category of holy books. So there's something really going on. People are for whatever reason, turning to, they feel a need to be comforted, and they're turning to the Bible for whatever reason.
That will not help. I'm sorry. I do a whole podcast about that book, and you're not going to get any help from that. Aww. Anyway, I once went into. Do you remember back when there were whole brick and mortar stores devoted to books? Anyway, I once went into a Barnes and Noble and went to their Bible section just to see what was there. And there's a baby. There are multiple Baby's First Bible.
Ew.
With like a little ducky on the front. Like, do you guys understand what the Bible is? Yeah. A baby cannot appreciate this book. Do not buy Bibles for children.
Yeah, but there's that like baby Einstein crap and baby Mozart crap, where people are like, they're convinced that if they expose their babies to things that they'll be, smarter or have a greater appreciation for classical music. Apparently, I don't think that's even what that was about. No. But like, yeah, Dan, people, have you ever encountered a baby, Dan?
I've met many babies.
They're very precious and
highly interested in ancient literature.
Dan, I have seen a baby reach out and grab the corner of a Bible before.
Yeah.
They also will grab anything that's nearby.
Yeah. They will immediately put that Bible in their mouth. So
they're hungry for the word of God, Dan.
Boom, baby. All right, I'm moving on. Because that's crazy. Why we don't buy Bibles? I'm going to tell you about a guy. Now, our listeners may have heard of this person before. It's a guy named James Lindsay. He hates a lot of the things that we like. He's describes himself as anti-woke, and has done something about it, including going ahead and publishing what he has submitted several fake articles for publication in academic journals.
Yeah.
That he considers liberal idiot journals.
Oh no.
And they've published him. And the thing is that these journal, he doesn't like critical theory and specifically critical race theory. And so he has submitted thinly veiled, like in at least one of them, he basically reworked Mein Kampf, and that would be Hitler's book.
Yeah.
And then submitted that, and he's gotten published. He uses pseudonyms and whatever, and pretend affiliations, and he's gotten published, and it's been a great embarrassment to several of these journals. Well, interestingly, he's got a new target.
Oh.
And that new target is American Reformer, which is an online magazine that is basically they were promoting, quote, a vigorous Christian approach to the cultural challenges of our day. This is Christian nationalism. This is the worst of the worst, like the nuttiest of the nutty.
And he's going after them.
He turned the same tactics on them.
Oh, wow.
He took several, he rewrote several parts of the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx, and then submitted it to them under the byline Marcus Carlson, which, if you're doing Karl Marx stuff and you submit it under the name Marcus Carlson, you're giving a lot of clues. All I'm saying is the clues were there.
Yeah.
And they published it.
Wow. Okay. So is this a case of the enemy of your enemy is your friend type thing?
I don't know. I don't know what this guy is doing. I don't know where he's coming from. But here's the thing. All these publications have to do is their job. And then this stuff wouldn't happen. And I actually believe he's pointing out some interesting things. I don't think that I don't side with him on anti-wokeness, but I read some of the things that he submitted in those fake articles to those academic journals, and frankly, he was actually pointing out weaknesses in their thing that they should have known about. So I'm actually glad he's doing it. I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but I love that he's going after Christian nationalists.
All right.
To the credit of the publication American Reformer, they didn't take it down.
Interesting.
My understanding is that they just changed who wrote it. They changed the byline. And by the way, this guy is an atheist.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
We're not going to agree with every atheist.
No.
In the world.
No.
This highlights that because we've talked about that on the show. And I think he's actually a really good case study.
Yes.
So like atheists, we may not always agree with.
Yeah. But I do think that, and I think American Reformer was interesting. Their co-founder tweeted, "Well, you have to hand it to James Lindsay. He got us."
Wow. That's an interesting response.
Yeah. So they just added his real name to the byline. And then just left it there. I don't know. Which is interesting. I think one of the things that's being pointed out here is that people think that they are like deep into a certain ideology. And I think most people aren't as ideologically focused as they think they are. And I think that that's part of what this points out is that like these, the fact that you can get so close to Karl Marx when you're a Christian nationalist, or that you can get so close to Hitler when you're a woke journal, like academic journal, and you can be sort of tricked into kind of siding with the bad guys. I think it does say something. I'm not 100% sure what it says, but it definitely says something interesting.
Interesting. All right. Well, we're going to have to pay attention to this guy and see where he goes with this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
This is kind of a perennial article that comes out. This is not the first time there has been one of these studies about how Christians treat atheists and atheists treat Christians. But I think it's always, at least from time to time, it's worth bringing up because at least in the headline, we get to feel a little bit superior. And I think that's a good thing. That's something that I think we need to feel. Or no. We don't need to feel superior, but we need to feel good about something and ourselves. So here's a study that shows that atheists are more likely to treat Christians fairly than Christians treat atheists. That's the headline. This is sort of what this study was designed to sort of suss out was how people, sort of the phenomenon of in-group bias, right? How people favor their own group and may treat people that are not members of the group differently, right?
Sure.
And so they were kind of working with the hypothesis that Christians would treat atheists poorly and atheists would do the same to Christians. And it turns out that is not the case. And so in order to kind of suss out why, and this is interesting, so like, here's the deal. I hear that and I'm like, well, yeah, duh, because Christians suck, right? And of course they treat others shittily. We see this every day in the news. We witness this. This is essentially what this show is about.
Right.
Right. And atheists generally, like, it's hard to even call us a group, right?
Right.
And so to like then be studying us as a group is probably a little problematic. Because we all come from such different backgrounds and whatnot.
We're not a monolith.
And we're not a monolith, whereas Christians clearly are. Clearly, you can treat them
all the same,
and not see the humanity in them. Like that's
right.
Like that's obvious, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right down. Anyway, no. So what she talks about, this researcher, is where is it? Basically stereotype threat is what she calls it. And I'm sure other people call it too. And that's the fear that one's performance will confirm a negative stereotype about their group. Right. And then there's identity threat, which is where discrimination or disparagement based on group membership forces individuals to act in ways that challenge negative stereotypes. And sort of the classic example that I think probably a lot of us can, if we just are honest with ourselves, can relate to is like in dealing with people of different races, especially if you're white.
Right. Yeah.
Because white people who aren't racist are usually a little paranoid about coming off as racist.
Right.
And there have been studies that looked at this that definitely show that white Americans will have a particular motivation to be liked by Black Americans during interracial interactions. Okay.
Which ends up like invariably when this is the concern, you are going to do something racist invariably. When you're desperate not to be seen as racist.
Yeah.
I got bad news for you, Charlie. You're going to do the racist thing accidentally.
Anyway, so they were playing a version of the dictator game, and you've heard of this one before. It's the one where the dictator, there's sort of two participants, right? And the dictator, the one who's been identified or assigned the role of dictator, gets to decide how much money to share with the other person.
Right.
Right. And they have like, small amount of money, and they're supposed to divvy it up between them. And there's no rules. That's the only rule, is you have absolute decision-making power here. And so what happens is when the participants have been identified as, okay, this person is Christian, this person is atheist, and everything's out in the open, the Christians actually treated the atheists unfairly. They did no qualms about it whatsoever.
You fucking dicks.
They just absolutely treated the atheists poorly.
Yeah.
And the atheists in turn did not. They were I think pretty fair.
I think they're probably thinking of the Sermon on the Mount when Jesus said, "And lo, if you see an atheist, kick that sucker while he's down, because thus saith the Lord."
Yeah, totally.
Pretty
my
sure
favorite part of the Bible. Yeah, so the researcher says that at least their interpretation of this is that atheists appear to have been motivated by negative stereotypes to behave more pro-socially.
Or they're just not being jerks.
And see, that's where I kind of question this, right? Like, I feel like the researchers here are trying to suss something out that it might be there. It might be there, right?
I can see that as being a part of it. Like, okay, I want my group to look good, so I'll.
Yeah.
But, no, I know plenty of people who, would be fair as atheists and don't care about that.
Well, this is the thing. Like, the next time any of us are in a study like this, which that's never going to happen for me. But but if you find yourself in a study like this, I would say absolutely just keep all of the money. Don't even give the Christians a buck. Clearly That's the lesson here. Right?
Turnabout is fair play. You know they're going to stiff you.
Yeah.
So stiff them back. No pro-sociality is worth it.
The thing that really blows my mind, though, with these studies is that there is a difference. That there are people, like, because I think I would just be like, it doesn't matter who the other person is or what their identity is. Yeah. Like, I would just be, I'm given $10. I'm going to give them $5. If that's the assignment, is divvy this money up between the two of you in a way that you think is fair.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not going to sit there and be like, oh, like, here's your $1. I'm keeping $9. Right. Yeah. Like, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
Like, and it just shocks the hell out of me that there are people in this world, especially Christians, who think they're so great. Yeah. Who would be like, this atheist.
You didn't pass my purity test, and so you've earned $1.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you're going to pull in purity tests, like, who could you have sitting across from you that you would give less money to? Right. Like, what if you're told,
oh, sorry, we'll get to that later.
I mean, you could be told that the person's obscenely wealthy.
Yeah.
Right. And then what's fair? Right. Yeah. You could be told that they are some sort of criminal that you might find objectionable. Right. And maybe you're like, well, I'm not going to give this thief. Right.
Right.
Would you give the thief less money? Would you give a murderer less money? Like, I mean,
wait, who did he murder? Nope. Again, that's the end of the show.
But it's interesting, like, because I think that there are scenarios where, not to pull out like the big guns, but like the person they've told you that the person's a child molester.
Right.
Right. Are you going to give them half your money?
Well, and the other thing is, you said thief, and what that actually made me think about was, from whom did this person steal? Because I actually think, if you told me this was, say, someone who stole from their own charitable foundation to buy a painting of themselves for their golf club or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I would give them less. Absolutely. If they stole,
you'd give them some.
No. Less. 0 is also considered less.
Okay. Sure.
In maths, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, those kind of things would definitely affect my calculations.
Yeah. This article brings up one more thing that is actually interesting, and I think this might be the nugget that tells us whether or not there is this stigma consciousness, right, amongst atheists, and changing the way that they behave, right? And the question is, does this stigma consciousness create sort of obstacles for talented atheists who might do something like run for office?
Right.
And so, like, if you think about that and go, well, but my being an atheist could really, like, hold me back in doing something like that, I think that suggests that we are aware of the stigma.
Right. Absolutely.
And that
how could you not be?
That it's changing our behavior socially. And that's what these kind of studies are really trying to suss out. Right.
It's impossible not to be aware of it, especially if you live in certain parts of the country.
Totally.
You can walk around Manhattan and not be aware of anything.
Just scream it. I don't believe in God.
And what will be screamed back is nobody gives a fuck. But if you scream that in, somewhere in rural Georgia or whatever, you're going to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It's funny to me because what should happen, there should be stigma awareness for Christians. Like, the Christians should be aware of the stigma. If you were really being a good Christian, I'm pretty sure you give the entire amount to the other person.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that, that's the Christian thing to do. That's the Jesus follower thing to do.
Thank you for finding that, Dan, in this story, is that the Christians don't feel this.
Right.
And they absolutely, well, first of all, it just says that they are so completely unaware of what the rest of us think of them.
Yeah.
Right? Like
100%.
that we do think they are all a bunch of fucking hypocrites.
Yeah.
And that they, have this completely unfounded sense of moral superiority that is disgusting.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're absolutely right. The Christian should be going into this with a little bit of a sense that they have something to prove.
Yeah.
And they don't. So there you go.
Boom. Suck it, Christians. You're not good people. Speaking of Christians who aren't good people, I'm going to take us to Michigan, where a state legislator has confirmed what we've all become very suspicious of, which is this is State Representative Josh Shriver, who apparently tweeted a few days ago the following. I'll just read it verbatim and then we can discuss. Make gay marriage illegal again.
Oh, God.
This is not remotely controversial nor extreme.
Well, it's a minority opinion, and it is most definitely would be controversial.
Yeah.
If they tried to do it.
Not controversial with whom? With your church? Like, what are you talking about? First of all, I like the idea that you can just declare what you're doing, whatever you say to be, like, you can just declare it non-controversial or non-extreme. I officially declare everything that you and I have ever said on this show to be neither controversial nor extreme. No, wait. I want to go the other way. I've changed my mind.
Yeah.
It's all incredibly controversial and very extreme.
Yeah, I feel better about that one.
Yeah. What a weird thing. Just okay. First of all, that's just weird to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna say, as you point out, he's not in the majority of Americans.
No,
he is in the large minority of Americans.
Yeah.
But he is elected to office, and he is not. Again, going back to your last story, he feels no social shame in saying this. Matter of fact, he thinks he's scoring some points.
Well, within his district, he probably is.
Yeah.
And in Michigan, amongst the Republicans that he's in office with, right, probably also not that controversial of a thing to say. But yeah, I mean, I know they're coming for it. I know they're coming for my marriage.
Yeah.
Right. And it concerns me, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Well,
if it actually comes along, like, it's going to be, I would assume that if it like goes to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court undoes, it will just be kicked back. They'll do the thing of, well, this is a state decision. They'll do the same thing they did with abortion, right?
Yeah.
But then continue to work on a national level against gay marriage, as they're working against abortion on a national level.
But be assured, dear listeners, that all of the red state houses, like, Utah used to be a place where the state house could be counted on to be more reasonable.
Yeah.
And then their other red state equivalents.
Yeah.
And that's gone.
Yeah.
No one's going to be reasonable. Like, just understand that the fight is coming to you.
Yeah.
All of the fights. They are unhinged, and they are ready to pummel us.
Here's the thing, though. The gay community, if you take gay marriage away, like, I don't want to, this is not to put down any other groups, but the reaction from the gay community would be something unlike you've ever seen. It would be the biggest, ugliest fucking fight in the streets.
Yeah.
Like, I think gay people would fucking lose their fucking minds. And a lot of that is because a lot of us are, white middle class and used to getting our way.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of the wrong group, white middle class men who are used to getting our way. And so I think there's something different when you come after gay people, is that there's a large part of us that are not going to take kindly to this and are not used to it. It's been a long time since, realistically, it has not even been that long of a time that gay marriage has been legal. No. But it's been quite some time that gay people have felt pretty safe in this country. Yeah. In certain realms, right? There's still plenty of places where people don't feel safe. But by and large, like the level of acceptance that we have found and we've gotten used to, like, I don't know, man. Like, I think I would be hard pressed to not be out in the streets screaming, right?
It will be interesting. I don't think they're actually going to try it. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think gay marriage is actually on the table. I don't think
as far as part of the overall strategy.
Yeah,
like there are people in the fringes who are trying for it, but maybe that's just not.
And I don't even know that they're trying for it. I think that they're making points off of saying it. And I think that they're trying to. That's the game for right now, is just score those points from saying it. But frankly, and even maybe bringing bills to the floor, knowing that they're going to get shot down. But I would be very surprised if anybody actually put this forward thinking that they were going to actually get it passed. Like, I don't think anybody's going to actually make that happen, or even think they're going to make it happen.
Well, I'm glad you think so, Dan. I feel better.
I believe me. It's not like I haven't been surprised before. But I mean, I think the whole country is not on board with this, and they know that, so they're really just speaking to the assholes in their constituency. And that's
I hope so, because I
hope so too.
I enjoy the security that comes from being married, and to have that ripped away would be horrible for me personally. It'd be, and obviously for so many other married couples, and it's something that let
me tell you something.
People should have the option to do.
If this happens, the TGIA army will be in full effect. We will be not just marching, we will be storming the capitals.
That's what I said. The gay people. Well, I mean, you're talking about the TGIA community, but like, we will. The gays will appreciate the extra help, but we're gonna be fucking going crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'll be at your side, man. We'll break down the barricades ourselves.
All right. Well, I've got a story. My next story, Dan. Yeah. It's also sort of about gay people, I guess. The Village People, the group famous for such hits as YMCA.
Right.
That's probably the one that most people really truly can zero in on.
Right.
The Village People, right?
Yeah.
And there's some other really great
In the Navy
hits.
Is a real banger.
In the Navy is probably one of the other obvious Village People songs. Anyway, YMCA, that song, was sort of co-opted by the Trump campaign, right?
They kept playing it, and
ad nauseum. It was kind of just became weird. Their song.
Why would the Trump campaign want a gay anthem? It doesn't make any sense.
It is absolutely so bizarre to me. But there's always been, I think, broadly throughout American culture, you'll see YMCA pop up as just this song because it's just a stand up and move song, right? Like you can't help yourself. Right. When the song comes on, you gotta move. It gets a crowd going. I mean, they love it down at BYU, right?
It's so weird.
Because the Y, BYU, everybody BYU people called BYU the Y,
Yeah.
and the YMCA is called the Y, and I think there's that connection, and they just
So when they're playing it, when they're doing the dance, do they just hold on the Y part of it and don't go on to the M, C, and A?
No, they do. They do all of
gestures?
them. They do all the gestures, but they have a grand old time with it. But anyway, so I think it's been out there. People generally feel a connection to this song, but it is bizarre because of how gay the song is and how gay the Village People kind of were, whatever. Well, it turns out that Victor Willis, who was sort of the lead singer, I guess.
Oh, really?
Not gay. He was not gay.
What?
And he has something to say about all these people who are trying to claim, who are saying what we're saying about Trump's use of the song. I'm like, what? This is so weird. Gay anthem. And he's like, no, it's not a gay anthem. He says it's a false assumption. This is a quote. It's a false assumption that YMCA is a gay anthem. He's like, there's been a lot of talk, especially of late, that YMCA is somehow a gay anthem. As I've said numerous times in the past, this is him posting on Facebook. That is a false assumption based on the fact that my writing partner was gay, and some, not all, of the Village People were gay, and that the first Village People album was totally about gay life. The assumption. This is still him.
God.
The assumption is also based on the fact that the YMCA was apparently being used as some sort of gay hangout. And since one of the writers was gay and some of the Village People are gay, the song must be a message to gay people. To that I say, once again, get your minds out of the gutter. It is not.
Okay, it's not mind in the gutter to just say something's gay.
Yeah, thank you. For somebody who was clearly surrounded by gay men since the 1970s.
Who also, by the way, made him his fortune. Any money that man has ever had in his life came because of gay people.
And he's saying, get your mind out of the gutter.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Let me tell you something. I have seen the movie that the Village People made called Can't Stop the Music. Which, now that I'm looking it up, I don't think that guy is in. They've replaced him with a different guy.
Maybe he was like a homophobe and didn't realize that everybody was gay. And
I think it must be because they replaced him with a different black police officer. But everybody else is in it, and it's like, and it makes it very clear. There is a YMCA, if I'm recalling it correctly, it's been many years since I've seen this. There's a YMCA just montage. There's a whole like thing about what's going on in the YMCA, and it's just 200,000 ripped guys and Valerie Perrine, all just sort of prancing around.
Yeah.
Very much using the YMCA as their enormous gay bathhouse. That is obviously what this song is about.
To try to claim that YMCA, which was on an album called Cruisin', is not a gay song is absolutely wild. There's also the song Hot Cop on the same album. My Roommate on the same album. Ups and Down. I don't know what that could be referencing, but
I've got to say something. I think that what very obviously happened was all of these gay men were making money hand over fist, were like super popular in Greenwich Village, which is the village that is being referenced, which is the gayest part, which was at the time one of the gayest parts of New York, is still very gay. And they literally, they just didn't clue him in. They just kept doing not even thinly veiled, like very, like impossibly thinly veiled references. and just saying, no, that's not what it means. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
And he was just
like,
too dense to pick up on it. Like, what's
Yeah.
Well, also, I want to also point out that one of the top Google searches about the Village People is, were any of the Village People straight?
Uh-huh.
Like, this is known. It is an assumption. It's all gay.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Especially YMCA. Have you read the lyrics? You're hanging out with all your boys or whatever the line is, right?
It starts with young man. It's literally addressed to any and all young men. I mean, it feels a little ageist when you think about it, but
we know.
I mean, did Victor Willis know? Did he look at how he was dressed at any moment in time?
Oh, well, he got to be the cop, and so maybe he thought that he was.
I mean, they were all butch ideas.
Yeah.
The construction worker and the motorcycle guy, and they're all singing about being a macho man.
Right. Yeah. That
but,
one too. That's a good one.
But come on.
Well, and I also want to say is that I have a picture of Victor Willis pulled up right here, dressed in the cop uniform. And I want to add that he has a silky handkerchief tied around his neck.
Oh, yes, sir.
like something must have clicked in this guy's head at some point where he was just like, no, not gay. And just in complete denial, because it's so, I don't even get it. I get it.
I get it because it's like from the 70s and he was probably trying to be cool and whatever, but then at some point the homophobia kicked in too hard, and ever since, for the rest of his life, he's like, it's not gay, man. Shut up, it's not gay.
How many times do I have to say this?
Oh, you guys suck.
Well, apparently, Dan, and I probably should have warned you about this, he's threatened to sue anybody who claims that it is a gay anthem. So we might be in trouble.
Oh, come at me, bro.
Wouldn't you love the publicity?
Oh, my God. Sue me. Sue me. I say the show is gay. The song is gay. The group is gay. Yeah. Everyone associated with it is gay.
I should continue with some of his quotes here. Willis said that when writing the song, he had no idea that the YMCA was a, quote, hangout for gays. I therefore wrote YMCA about the things that I knew about the Y in the urban areas of San Francisco, such as swimming, San Francisco of the 70s, mind you.
Oh my God.
Such as swimming, basketball, track, and cheap food and cheap rooms. When I say hang out with all the boys, that is simply 1970s black slang for black guys hanging out together for sports, gambling, or whatever. There's nothing gay about that. So to the extent that YMCA is considered a gay anthem based on the fact that gays once used certain YMCAs for illicit activity, especially the one that you knew in San Francisco, the assumption that the song alludes to that is completely misguided.
Oh my God. Victor Willis, the lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, amazing.
He was definitely hanging out with all the boys, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fine. I'm going to close this out. 'Tis the season for some holiday cheer.
Oh, good.
But not for pagans in Parkersburg, West Virginia. Parkersburg, West Virginia, where apparently I think I've said it before on the show. I don't know what a parade is. I don't understand the concept of a parade. It eludes me entirely. I don't know what's supposed to be fun about it. I don't know why you want to have one, especially in the wintertime, why anybody would want to stand there and watch as things go by.
Yeah, it's fun. It's festive.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
People throwing things at you and dancing to music. And what's not? It's not good.
Not for me.
Okay.
I'm just saying it's not for me.
Okay. All
right. But they have one there. They have a parade there in Parkersburg. And it's open to anyone, theoretically. But tell that to the Appalachian Pagan Ministry, who applied, put in an application, described their organization so that it could be read out over the the PA system as they passed by.
Mm-hmm.
And all they said was that like they're a nonprofit dedicated to serving those of non-Abrahamic beliefs, which 90% of Christians wouldn't even know that wasn't them. And it says those of non-Abrahamic beliefs who are incarcerated, formerly incarcerated, and or in recovery. So they're nice. They're just trying to help ex-convicts, people in recovery. Like, how do you get mad at these people? They talk, they're basically just harmless. And by the way, the proposed float, which they bought a bunch of stuff for, apparently, involved they were not trying this. They did not put a Krampus on there. They're not trying to be like anti-Christmas or anything. They wanted to put in a Christmas tree and some reindeer costumes and like gnomes and candy and lights and stuff. They were just participating in Christmas. They just wanted to be friendly neighborhood pagans.
Great.
No.
Oh no.
Rejected.
Oh no.
Which is so weird. And then it turns out that like everyone's pretending like this isn't a city thing. This is the person who's running it is this lady. It's just like literally everybody's pretending like this isn't run by the city, but all roads apparently lead to the mayor.
Oh.
It seems very clear that the mayor is the one who nixed them from it.
Uh-oh.
But then immediately the downtown PKB Twitter page or whatever, or maybe it's Facebook, posted a thing that was like, this entire thing is organized by Lori Ullman Roberts. It's all on her. She has the task. If you have any questions about it, talk to her, not to us.
Mm-hmm.
Throwing this poor lady who's been doing a parade for 20 years entirely under Santa's sleigh. Just rude.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that, it just speaks to sort of the nature of where our...
and this was, you said this was a pagan group.
Yeah.
Did anybody point out that irony?
Well, if you're about to say that Christmas comes from a pagan thing, most of those rumors are not actually true. I'm just going to be clear. We as atheists need to stop saying, "Oh, the Christmas tree was pagan. Oh, this was pagan. That was pagan." No, it wasn't.
Well, what was it then, Dan?
It was a Christian thing.
Was it?
It started in Germany.
And all right. So what about the timing of the holiday?
Well, that's more in question. It's definitely timed for the not equinox. What's the other one? The solstice.
Solstice, yeah.
But I mean, and you could say that came from pagan traditions, but also like everybody did a thing for the solstice. It's the darkest time of the year. Everybody has some sort of traditional celebration.
Wow.
At the darkest time of the year.
I'm having a hard time processing this, Dan.
Anyway, I'm just saying, be sure of your facts, because a lot of those things that Bill Maher was promoting or whatever are bullshit.
How dare you? How dare you? What do you? I'm trying to wrap my head around the implications, Dan.
The implications that Christmas is actually Christian.
It's horrible.
Try to survive it. I think we'll all be okay. Everybody. All right. Well, if you would like to write into me and yell at me about how it was Saturnalia or whatever you want to do, please first do research and then write to us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442. Stick around. There's more show coming up.
Well, Frank, we're running a little long. We've got people writing into us and calling into us, and I'm very excited about all of it. Let us begin with Allison, who wrote in to say, "Hello, love you guys. I listen to you every week. I just wanted to let you know that I watched Mary this weekend on Netflix. There's a new movie. Did you hear about this? A new movie on Netflix?
No, tell me about it.
Well, I haven't watched it. Only Allison has watched it. But she said, and it was pretty interesting and a good movie. And while me and my husband cracked jokes about it, it was still quite riveting. And then, as the end credits played, I noticed it was executive produced by Joel Osteen.
Gross.
And I felt ashamed that I had contributed to his empire. So I just wanted to give you a warning, and hopefully by this email you can warn us all. It may be entertaining, but it's not worth it.
Oh no, yeah, don't do that and give it a negative review.
What? Don't give
just
it a
go.
negative.
Don't even have to watch it. Just go give it a negative review.
There's no reason to do that. I would think that as someone like we get so many 1-star reviews on like Apple whatever because of people who have not listened to a second of our show.
Totally.
They just based only on the title.
Yeah.
We have gotten, matter of fact, if you guys want to counteract that, please rate us, review us, do something. And if you're going to counteract it, you have to give us 5 stars, even if you think we're a 3 or 4-star show. You just have to. That's just how it goes.
You have to help us out, guys. Come
That's
on.
just maths, you guys. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. You can support a movie if you want to watch a movie. I don't know why you'd want to watch a movie about Mary. I'm a little confused
Especially
about it.
from Joel Osteen, something Joel Osteen would support.
Yeah, because it's not going to be accurate. It's going to be biblically like it's going to support a bunch of dogmas, but it's not going to be like historically accurate or anything.
Right.
It's probably not even going to be biblically accurate. Dan and I over on Data Over Dogma just barely did a show about how the two nativity stories in the Bible, the Luke story and the Matthew story, are 2 fucking different stories. They're not even related to each other. There's no crossover. You can try to harmonize them if you want, but they're literally totally different stories. They just told 2 different stories, and now everybody just mushes them together. So yeah, I don't know why. Like the Mary story is going to be. It's going to be wishy-washy. That's what I'm going to say.
All right.
We have a voicemail, do we not?
We do, from somebody responding to a conversation that I think Rachel and I had a couple weeks ago about stores being closed on Sunday. And I sort of mentioned that, if it's not for religious motivation, I don't mind.
Okay.
I don't, right? Like if there's like a rule that's religious that you have to close your store on Sunday, right?
You mean like if like the government has a rule?
Yeah, if the government has a rule, but if it's just a societal thing, a tradition, and everybody's just like, we like having a day off, and this is the one that we all kind of like to have off, I have no problem with that. Anyway, we have a listener with some perspective.
Hey, Frank and Dan, this is Finn over in Germany. Just wanted to comment on Sunday, everything being shut down. So years ago, everything was shut down on the weekends in Germany, Saturday and Sunday, which made it crazy. They had one day or one morning where you could go shopping every 6 weeks, and it was just mayhem. So they relaxed the laws and allowed it to open on Saturday. Sunday was still closed. Then a couple of years ago, the federal government came out in Germany and said, hey, we'll give the states the option to open up on Sunday. And I believe most states said they would, but the people in Bavaria did not. And they are the Texas of Germany. and they are religious zealots there, somewhat, for Germans, not really. But, yeah, they're more strict there. But for the most part, everything's still closed on Sundays. And, yeah, it's actually kind of nice and relaxing. You just have to plan your life around it and be prepared.
Yeah, I find that to be that concept of you have to plan your life around it to be ableist against those of us who cannot plan. And no, absolutely not. I am not okay with it in the least.
It's nice.
Nope.
It's a nice thing.
No.
To just have a day.
Look, you can take a day.
It's relaxing.
I'm happy for any single human to take a day, pick your day.
Yeah.
But all the shit has to stay open all of the days.
No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, where's it going to stop, Dan?
It doesn't ever stop.
Like we hit that point, like back in like the 90s and early aughts, right? Like where everything was open, or all through the aughts, where grocery stores were open 24 hours a day. Walmart's open 24 hours a day. Like
no one's calling for 24 hours.
The McDonald's drive-through 24 hours a day, right? Which I think it actually still is on a lot of them. And it's like, no, people need a time to rest. People need a time downtime.
Every individual needs downtime.
Yeah.
Stores do not. You can put other people in at different times.
Unfortunately, that's not often how these things end up working.
Well, no, but what you're missing is that like so many people have to work odd hours, and when things aren't open, when they're ready to go shopping, when they need to do their thing, that's discriminating against them. That makes their life harder.
So be open the rest of the week, 24 hours a day.
No, don't be open 24 hours a day.
And close one day a week. So everybody can just, it's just a different way of relaxing. It feels different.
You're just way off.
All right, whatever. It's lovely.
All right. Good. No. Now we're going to hear more about this from other listeners.
Because people don't like, I get it. People think like you. More people think like you on this, Dan, than think like me on it. I think it's kind of nice.
What? Okay, that's fine.
Even though I've run into like the scenario of, shit, the store's closed. Crap. Right. Yeah. The one store I want to go to. Crap. Well, then either I plan or I don't. And next week it'll either be better or it won't.
I'll tell you what else needs to happen. I'm going to take it a step further. All government, like anything that has where the public has to interact with the government, the IRS, whatever, that needs to be open 7 days a week as well.
No.
So that people can like handle stuff on the weekend.
No.
Clinics all need to be open every day. Everything needs to be open every day.
No, that's ridiculous.
Anyway, there you go. We have staked our ground. We have staked our claims. Have. What? You're staking just as hard a claim.
Oh.
I'm just saying you and I
have not agreed.
We have not agreed.
Yeah.
We have put our flags in the ground, and you and I are in a fight.
Yeah. I like things to be closed. That's not
saying. Okay. There you go. Do we have some folks to thank?
We do, Dan. A whole lot of them.
Woohoo!
We have, let's see, ambiverbal, ambiverbal, increased their membership from the deacon level to the teacher level. So thank you very much, ambiverbal. And then we have two new deacons. We have Leah and Lily. So thank you to the both of you. And we have two new teachers. We have Jessica and CS. So thank you to the both of you for signing up. And if you'd like to join them in supporting the show, we'd sure appreciate it. Please go to our website, thankgodimatheist.com/donate.
Yes.
That's how you do it. Easy.
And I believe we have one more person to thank, do we not?
We do indeed, Dan. We have our top donor, our Lord Lord and Savior, Davis.
Ooh, you undercut it a little bit. You went in low.
That was nice.
Okay. Well, thank you, Davis, and thanks to all of you, and more show coming up. Frank,
Dan.
the discussion that we are about to have, I want our listeners to know how, what I'm willing to, the lengths I'm willing to go to for them.
Okay.
Because we are about to discuss the shooting of United Health's CEO, what's his name, Brian Thompson. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson,
Right.
who was fatally shot a few days ago. And I went into the belly of the beast because, look, the parts of the internet where I live, everybody was kind of pretty okay with this guy getting shot.
Yeah. I mean, don't think tears were being shed by
wasn't nobody
much of the country
crying at all about this. Even though
if you stop and consider that he had a family and all of that kind of stuff, it's not great. And there are people who knew him who were sad.
Yes.
But
well, as so many people pointed out, like let's just be clear. Let's make it understood what we're talking about here. This is the guy who ran the insurance company that was the very, very worst for denying people's claims, for delaying tactics, and that's specifically why he was killed. Like the bullet casings that were found at the scene said deny, delay, and depose, which were basically which is sort of the cute way of saying we're going to kill people to save money,
right?
And so, like, there are a lot of tweets out there that are like, oh, Brian, here's one right here, by @Steal Your Red Bull, Steal Your Red Bull, who wrote, oh, Brian Thompson was still human and had a wife and kids. Yeah, so were all the people who were denied coverage to them. So were the people he denied coverage to that died. So, and that's a lot more than just one wealthy family.
Yeah, no, I know. There's the sentiment it's wild. It's really wild because it's like, I mean, I don't know that I've ever really been following an assassination, right? Of an American, like, fellow citizen, right? Where it's like, oh, okay, I kind of understand why this person was assassinated.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I don't know that I've ever had that sense before. Right. Here's the thing. I haven't had that sense really either. And I've also never been in the position of being like, oh, a murder happened and a targeted murder happened and I'm kind of fine with it. Like I cannot find it in me, and I've never had this happen to me before. I cannot find it in me to fully and full-throatedly condemn it. I do. I can't find it. I want to. Yeah, because the problem is I don't want to live in a society where that's like, the thing.
Right. I don't want to live in that society.
Right.
But I don't want to live in the society that I'm living in.
Right.
The society that I'm living in breeds that.
Yeah.
And it's the fault of these assholes. That's the problem. And also, like, philosophers and thinkers about society have warned people about this for centuries, because it always happens. The wealthy, the powerful, eventually consolidate their power too much, hoard their wealth too much. It's too oppressive on the masses. And then the masses don't really have any other options. They're not listened to. Their votes don't end up counting for shit.
Mm-hmm.
And they have one option left, and it's violence.
Yeah.
Anyway, I decided that I was going to go and look at what the other side of the political / religious spectrum was saying about all of this. So I went, yikes, to Breitbart.
Oh, jeez.
I do this so that you guys don't have to, everybody. And it is a different world that they live in. They do not live in the same society that we live in, even though they deal with the same consequences that we deal with, meaning their grandma gets denied coverage on things just as much as our grandma does,
Mm-hmm.
but they blame the wrong people for it.
Mm.
And they also think, I saw so many people talking about, they can't deny you medical care. They can just decline to pay for it.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, distinction without a difference. Why are you talking about that? The one that really hit me, the one where I was like, okay, this is the world we live in, is in the comments section in a Breitbart article that is just whining about how the libs aren't condemning this horrible, horrible, horrible incident.
Mm-hmm.
In the comments section, a commenter who goes by the name Jesus is God. That is the name that they have used for their handle in the comments at Breitbart. They jumped on to just say, no one is entitled to health care the same way no one is entitled to a Bugatti, a yacht, or beachfront property.
Jesus Christ. Like, healthcare isn't a luxury.
Apparently Jesus thinks so. It's so weird to me how far-flung that comment is from anything I know Jesus to have said. Like, I've read your book, guy. Like, Jesus was very clear about give away all of your money to the poor. If your brother is in need, you have to help him. Like, yeah, it's just so crazy. Like if someone pointed out to him, someone was like, tell your Jesus dudes, or just said, well, your Jesus dude's teaching pretty much went right over your head, didn't it? And he's like, you can't explain what you just said, which is funny. And what the guy posted was the line, but if anyone has the world's goods and sees his brother in need, yet closes his heart against him, how does God's love abide in him?
Mm-hmm.
That right there is what I remember being taught about Jesus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus was supposed to be, the lesson you're supposed to learn from Jesus is love everybody and help them if they need it.
Right, but this person doesn't believe in that Jesus. This person believes in like a gun-toting, muscle-bound Jesus, right? With blood.
Alpha male.
He's got all the blood. He's been bathed in Jesus' blood, right? Like that's the kind of Christian / Jesus you're dealing with, right?
It's so weird.
And yeah, like I don't know why, like I don't know why people can't at least acknowledge there's a basic right that's not being filled, right? A human right that's not being filled with regard to healthcare in this country, right? And the division between the haves and the have-nots is remarkable with healthcare, because sitting over there at that hospital or down the street at that clinic is fucking world-class healthcare. The best.
Yeah.
Right. And amongst the best. Right. And it's so easily available to some and just fraught with financial peril for everyone else. Right.
Yeah.
And as long as you're healthy, great. You know, as long as you don't have to actually use the system, you're fine. And it just sits over there, and it's just, healthcare is this theoretical thing. But our system has decided to socialize the insurance for the most expensive people to insure, period, which are the elderly.
Yeah.
Right? And who, like, you hit a certain age, it's all you talk about, because it's all you're doing with half of your life is going from one doctor's appointment to the next, seemingly. I'm not that age, but talking to older people, this is my perspective on it, which is all you're doing is engaging with the healthcare system while the rest of us aren't. And so you have an entitlement to healthcare in this country if you're old, or if you served in the military and met the criteria to be for, vet benefits, or if you're abjectly poor. The rest of us are just in financial peril, right?
All the time.
All the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just had a hospital stay, and I'm seeing the bills sort of show up in my, like, the little online thing that I can, access my healthcare whatever through.
Yeah.
And, this is all preliminary stuff. The insurance company hasn't done anything with it. It's shocking numbers, right?
Yeah.
It's huge numbers for 2 nights in the hospital, right? And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, I'm glad I have insurance, right? That's going to cover, most of this.
Yeah.
We don't know how much we're going to have to pay, but we're going to be paying thousands of dollars,
right?
Most likely. I mean, I don't know yet, but but that's how the system is set up. And it's like, and I can't tell you that while I was in the hospital, I didn't have money on my mind.
Well, yeah. I mean,
right? Like, even though, like, I had to be there,
yeah.
right? I'm sitting there thinking, like, I wonder how much it costs. I wonder how much that tea with lemon just cost. Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
I figured everything I touched, I was being charged for. Turns out not so, but
it's like the fact that that was on your mind.
Yeah.
Is deeply problematic.
Mm-hmm. And I, as sick as I was, it was 2 nights. You were talking about your dad's hospital bill.
Yeah. Before my dad passed away, he was in the hospital for, he had a horrible accident and was badly burned and was in the hospital for almost 6 months. And it topped, it was easily over $1 million.
Yeah.
Which could have been disastrous. Fortunately, he was well covered by insurance, and they never tried to get out of it. Though I wouldn't put it past them now. Like, it seems very clear to me that that was 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
It might be different.
Yeah, who knows?
These companies are really egregious about this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your dad was he was on Medicare and had supplementals, what it sounds like, some supplemental thing, whatever. And so, like, I mean, I don't know how all of that works, but you're right to question what it would be like. But, like, so we all live with this, like, anxiety, and then you have a chief executive of one of the worst healthcare health insurance providers in the country, the largest one too, right?
Yeah.
Get gunned down in the street, and it's the like, or at least apparently it was only half of us shrugged.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh, like, I remember the first headline, I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy got shot. Like, holy crap, this is, like, crazy. And then you just read a few details and it's like, oh,
mm-hmm.
Oh, huh. How do I, as somebody who considers myself a moral person, how do I judge this?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it's not easy. It's not clear cut.
Like, I don't know. And then the pictures of the guy comes out and he's kind of attractive. And
wait, do you mean the shooter?
yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen all of that?
You know that's not him, right?
Wait, what?
They're saying the one that where his face is showing?
Yeah.
I don't think that's him. I like the internet's going crazy about it.
Yeah, you need to
by the time this comes out, it's going to be different, but it's a different jacket. It's a different backpack. Everything looks wrong.
So here's what I would say to you, Dan, is talk less about what the internet is saying.
I'm saying
and
looked
more
at the
about
pictures.
more about what the New York Times and the Washington Post are saying.
I just looked at the pictures. That's all I'm saying.
No, I know, but like I don't know what people do with that information until it's like confirmed and it's verified.
I'm saying
we had the wrong guy.
But I'm saying it's absolutely fine to question it.
The yeah, that's an interesting statement. Like, yeah, it is okay, but we also have a show.
Yeah, it's
right.
true. We don't know. The answer is we don't know.
Of course it's okay to question, but there's also responsibility toward spreading rumor and unfounded claims and whatnot. So
anyway, if that's the guy, he's a handsome devil.
Yeah,
if it's not the guy, also a handsome devil. And also, what a weird time in that dude's life.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. Crazy stuff.
But yeah, I just think the fact that like the internet suddenly exploded with things like, oh, by the way, do you all know about jury nullification and how that can work? And that it's okay for a jury to find someone who they know for a fact is guilty, to find them not guilty, and you can't get into any trouble and they can't be tried again. Like, this is where they're at. This dude is a folk hero.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing is that we're watching happen, and there's not a lot of moral condemnation or ability to come forward and morally condemn what this guy did. You're not hearing it.
No.
Right.
Well, I mean, like, politicians are coming out and saying, oh, no, this was terrible.
Yeah, because they don't want to get shot either. Right. Like,
right. Oh, did you see Elon Musk's reaction?
No.
Oh, he's basically just like, we need CEOs. It's not okay to kill CEOs. CEOs are super important.
They're so precious.
Dude. And then I saw someone point out on one of the social medias that Elon Musk is CEO of like 3 different companies.
Yeah.
If you can be the CEO of 3 different companies and tweet 450 tweets a day and think you get to just be on the president's committee to ruin America or whatever, you don't need CEOs. Like, those companies are getting along just fine and they don't have a CEO. Every time he dips his toe into CEOing, he ruins something.
Yeah, I think that Elon might be more of an exception rather than the rule. Like,
sure.
Like, he's CEO because he owns these things, right?
Yes.
Whereas, I mean, I'm definitely not defending the CEO class and whatnot, but like, I think that most probably do a lot more than Elon Musk does. I think there's a lot of people behind the scenes propping Elon up and saving him from like the embarrassment or total ruin that he would cause, like Tesla.
Oh, I don't think they're saving him from the ruin. The ruin's happening. It's just so crazy that, like, I mean, he's clearly terrified. I think all of them are right now.
Yeah.
The sad thing, and I think that this is worth pointing out, and maybe this is the reason why we shouldn't be encouraging murder. Maybe revolution. Maybe full-on revolution, but not murder. Because this one murder isn't going to cause any company or even any CEO to think, oh, maybe we should be better at treating people fairly and, you know, humanity, etc. It's only going to make them think, well, I got to beef up security, I guess.
Yeah. I think we're about to watch an absurd level of security get built up around sort of the sort of the ruling class, for lack of a better phrase at the moment.
Right.
That's going to be absolutely absurd, and that is actually just going to end up costing them as much, maybe if not more, than them just being decent human beings.
Yeah.
Right.
But they have to stick to their guns.
Right.
It's not like they can just go off and be a decent person now.
But like, seriously, like this guy, like none of these CEOs would need to be worried if they weren't going around dicking around the public.
Yeah.
Right.
Like killing people. That's the problem here, is that people are dying because they have to maximize profits for their shareholders.
Yeah.
That's what's at stake here. Is like one side is trying to get more money and the other side is trying not to die. And when you're on the side that's trying not to die, I think killing feels like a fair way of adjudicating that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right. Well, we're going to be sued into oblivion now. So enjoy us while it lasts, friends. And I'm absolutely positive that some of you have some very strongly worded things to say to us.
Yeah.
So feel free to do so. Write into us, podcast at thankgodimatheist.com.
Or call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
To support the show, go to thankgodimatheist.com/donate.
This episode was edited by Roger Gowdy, and music was provided by the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnston.
Thanks to all y'all for tuning in. We sure do appreciate you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thank God I'm Atheist is a production of TGIA Media, LLC, copyright 2024, all rights reserved.